There might be something to be said for that, right? And certainly because it was the first time such a thing was being done, I could see it. I could see the reason why he would do that.
Yeah.
However,
yeah.
I find this mystifying against, again, a further blog from his own posts, in that Jim Shooter now is an absolutely giant advocate for that an editor shouldn't be a writer.
Well, maybe he learned from his experiences.
Yeah.
That an editor should, in all case, or a writer in all cases, should defer to an editor, and that an editor on a book such as this shouldn't be its writer. There shouldn't be a writer-editor aspect. And it's weird because I have taken that lesson and I don't edit my own stuff, ever.
Who do you
I
get
let
to edit
somebody
your
else.
stuff?
I get Jill to edit my stuff.
Well, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
Or I refer out to others, but I never edit my own stuff because I need that external opinion. Sometimes you're too close to it. And it's funny that you mention that now, because one thing that I gleaned in rereading this is that this felt like a book that didn't have an editor guiding it. It felt like a book that had a writer who was just allowed to write whatever they wanted. Just you saying that makes that penny drop something fierce. You know what I mean?
In the months leading up to Secret Wars, some of the characters involved, various comics had shown a mysterious structure appearing, and the characters interacting with them, and then the structure disappearing, taking the character with them. And then we start literally, okay, it's a literal cold open. On the first page of the first issue, it's just all these heroes appearing in a thing together in space, and a huge voice saying the words, "I am from beyond. Slay your enemies, and all that you desire shall be yours." They then see the universe destroyed, and they're given to understand that the only people left in the entire universe are the heroes on one structure and the villains on the other structure, which leads to 12 issues of basically bitch fight. Let's take a look at the list of heroes here, because boys, I think you'll agree it's substantial. You know, it's most of the big guns are there.
Oh, it's heavy hitters, all right.
Yeah,
Heavy hitters all around.
Also,
Heavy hitters and Wasp.
Yep, couple of shit ones too.
Well,
Heavy hitters and Captain Marvel.
Well, let's take a look at the list here. Okay, we have Hulk, who's at the time is Bruce Banner intelligent.
Can I just say that was really weird to read? Just cold.
Yeah.
Spider-Man. We have the Fantastic Four of Human Torch, Thing, and Mr. Fantastic. At the time, Sue Storm was, in fact, in a family way. The Avengers, at the time, currently being led by the Wasp, along with She-Hulk, Captain Marvel, that's the Monica Rambeau version of Captain Marvel, Captain America, Thor, Hawkeye, and Iron Man, who was, dun dun dun, a black man after all. And the X-Men team of Professor Xavier, Cyclops, Wolverine, Nightcrawler, Colossus, Rogue, Storm, and Lockheed the Dragon. And Magneto.
Magneto!
Now, what do we make of that? At that time,
I think it was a very interesting move to make Magneto one of the heroes at that point.
And the reason given in the storyline is, of course, that from the Beyonders' otherworldly perspective, that Magneto's advocacy of mutant rights actually makes him a hero, which is kind of an interesting viewpoint to take back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's certainly one that would carry over into Claremont's run.
Bobby?
It's also a fairly stupid one. Because, I mean, from no one's the bad guy in their own story.
Well, in that way, you can say this is kind of a it's all right. It was for kids, but it is a very childish perspective, and not the usual level of sophistication that you would expect from Marvel's characters. You know, it's like these guys are the goodies, and these guys are the baddies.
Yes, this guy is a goodie who had a team called the Brotherhood of Evil.
Another interesting note in regards to the heroes are, guys. I know you won't know this offhand. I counted today, but of those 20 heroes that we listed there, how many of them went on to die after Secret Wars?
A lot.
Would you care to hazard a guess?
All of them.
I am actually looking at page 2 of issue 1, and I can tell you for a fact that, died during this. Dead. Unworthy, dead, still going.
16. 16 have died.
And I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 and a half for Lockheed.
Yeah. So, by the way, 4 are still yet to come back to life.
Jean Resurrection announced.
Pardon?
Jean Grey Resurrection announced.
Get the fuck right out of here.
She's not on this?
No, but I'm just saying Jean Grey Resurrection officially announced today.
Oh, Christ.
Jesus.
Leave it, lads, leave it. So, on the other team...
Too late.
Leave it. On the villains team, we have... it's another interesting list. We have Doctors Doom and Octopus, Kang, the Molecule Man, the Lizard, the Enchantress, the Absorbing Man, Ultron, the Wrecking Crew of Thunderball, Wrecker, Piledriver, and Bulldozer, and similarly to Magneto, Galactus.
Yeah.
I'm calling bullshit on the Wreckers being the best villains they could get.
I'm calling bullshit on the Molecule Man being a villain even at that time. And he's even written that way.
I find the Molecule Man is probably the most interesting character in this whole series.
Absolutely agreed. Absolutely agreed.
But we'll get into that.
We'll get into that. So, I mean, the problem to me with Galactus is that at that time, in John Byrne's seminal run on the Fantastic Four, Galactus had been established as not a villain or an evil force, but actually a cosmic necessity, a force in the cosmos as necessary in life and death. And to just say, oh, well, he's a baddie now.
But I have a counter to this in that Galactus's actions in the actual series themselves dictate that he either has a pre-knowledge of the Beyonder, and that the Beyonder has obviously got a pre-knowledge of him. And the way that I see it is, if you look at Galactus's motivations immediately in the series, he wants to make contact with the Beyonder because he believes the Beyonder can cure him of his hunger. Now, Galactus himself may not be inherently evil, but his hunger is inherently destructive. Thus, why the Beyonder would cast him on that side of the line.
But if he doesn't see the people that he's... I mean, from his perspective, if he... And it's been mentioned in this series ad fucking nauseum, like a gnat. Like we're not even there. Like we're lesser beings. It's like, I'm not an evil man. Well, I mean, some people would say that I am, but I'm not an evil man for eating hamburgers.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that...
They're a necessity.
Yeah, and regardless of it being a necessity, what I'm saying is that these positions have been dictated by the Beyonder, an above being. So we can't really judge what way he's judging these things.
Oh, are you seriously...
You have to buy into it a little bit, man. You have to buy into it a little bit. Buy into the logic of the series.
Okay. Your rationale for this is his ways are not for us to know. Right. Okay, Reverend.
That's the whole point of it being like the Beyonder.
Dude, that's good enough for fucking real life for most people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, his wonders to perform.
As well, let's go through the broad story points, because the very literally, okay, Galactus, it's moot point this really, because Galactus's alliance with the villains lasts exactly 2 pages before he says, fuck this, I'm going up to talk to this bastard. Let's go. Meow.
Yeah, hold me shoes, I'm just going to go talk to him.
Right. So, that's what happened. Galactus tries to smack down the Beyonder, or go and talk to him, as you more eloquently put, Mark Antonio, but he immediately gets beaten back to Earth, thus serving, I think, storyline-wise, a very important purpose to show that the Beyonder is what he says he is.
Yeah. Yeah, Braun Strowman needs to kick the shit out of the Big Show on day one, or no one's going to take him seriously.
Oh, I'm not finished with you. Flips ambulance on Galactus. Yeah.
Yeah.
The first issue is made up of mostly just people fucking around, people standing around and saying who they are and what their motivations are, and then just a fucking.
Can we just point out just how weak I think for how strong the cadre of heroes is? The cadre of villains is weak.
Yeah.
compared to Marvel's current lineup of villains, shall we say. This kind of goes a long way to show how far a lot of villains have come in Marvel.
Yeah, and well, we would be remiss did we not point out that there are various other villains that show up later on. You know, that they are augmented, but I think that was typical in toy lines at the time. You know, and this was dictated by the toy line. The hero side was always much better or much heavier than the villain side. The first generation of Transformers, for example, there were like 5-6 villains. I mean, I'm not counting remolds. You know.
You're going to make me count, aren't you?
No, we're not, Bobby. We're going to move on.
Yeah, no.
Fair enough.
We're still only on issue 1, and we're half an hour into the show.
Yeah. Well, we're not going through issues. We're just I've made a list of like 15 broad plot points, so that should associate it. So, the alliance and the heroes, much like the alliance with the villains, does not last very long. The X-Men decide that they are going to secede from the heroes and join with Magneto, who was initially ostracized as like a mutant fanatic and terrorist. Something that, again, goes against his portrayal in the comics at the time, because Bill Montallo and Chris Claremont, New Mutants, had been very, very slowly but surely painting a picture of Magneto as a conflicted sort of in-betweener character.
And a redemptive figure at that point, yeah.
Yeah, one of the things you see is there's a lot of out-of-character stuff in there, and in particular, upon the X-Men succession from the hero group, Professor X just straight up fucking wipes Spider-Man's brain to stop him from remembering, which is something that at the time was considered to be very out of character.
Not so out of character now.
Yeah, he always doing that, yeah.
Well, he was always doing that. And you know he's 6 years dead now. Resurrection planned for early 2018.
Oh, fuck off. Seriously?
Yep.
During all this, there was a sort of a limited amount of character development, because you can't have just straight up Gaga all the time you get a fight. And so the next thing in the list is...
this comic is the Royal Rumble of comics.
Yeah, you've got to have those in-between spots. It's psychology. The Thing discovers that he is randomly transforming back and forth from Rocky Misfit to...
he's losing his heart on at random intervals. It's very strange.
Well, it happens to all Asian gentlemen. I'm informed. But, I mean, that was an interesting thing, because, spoiler warning, at the end of Secret Wars, the Thing does not come back from Battleworld. He stays basically to try and figure out why the fuck he can transform back and forth there and not on Earth and other such stuff. But the Thing was, at that time, hadn't really developed much as a character. He wasn't much more than, I have been transformed into a pile of shite. My life sucks. This blind woman loves me.
Yeah, I am the comedy foil. I'm just... He was basically just there to pick stuff up and get the piss taken out of him by Johnny Storm.